How's your heart feeling these days? Are you guarded, constricted, fearful? Are you feeling hopeful, in awe of the world, and at ease? We'll be talking about this and the importance of living wholeheartedly in times of change today on Our Waking Dream. Thank you for being here. I'm your host, Coco Swanson. Each week on this show, I go over one basic astrology theme that's moving through the week or through the season, and I couple it with awareness questions to bring it into inquiry with your journaling, with your friends, your community, and then a couple exercises like a somatic exercise or a meditation, awareness shifts that help you integrate the astrology that's moving through the day. So I use astrology as a map because it's bizarrely accurate. I still am fascinated by how this all works, yet I focus less on how and more deciphering the language of the moving metaphor that's moving through the cosmos and us. Over on my site, there's a whole ecosystem of support that's growing. I have a membership platform that I'm stoked about. That's a long time in the making. It's a leadership studio where we bring somatics, we bring meditation, we bring energy healing, essentially, into how we're leading our lives. So there's that, and there's a whole lot of other offerings over there. So you can always look below and link if you're interested in more support. Okay. This said, let's talk about Jupiter moving into Leo. It moved into Leo on July 1st. So now, for the next 13 months, Jupiter, the planet that exaggerates, the planet that brings about learning and expansion, wherever Jupiter is, it exaggerates. It's kind of like an enhancer, like Santa comes. But it enhances the shadow and the light. So when Jupiter comes to whatever zodiac sign it's in for that 13-month period, it points a flashlight at how you are doing in the themes and how we are doing in the themes inherent in the zodiac sign that it's at. So it's now in Leo, and Leo is all about our heart. In its illumination, Leo is so fun. It's like a lion heart, a courageous, innocent heart that loves and loves very purely and large. It's a sign of, I say, go big or go home. It's the jazz hands. It's the part in me, say, that shows up on film easily, that says, hey, everybody, because I have some strong Leo influence. It's the generous, creative, self-expressive, fixed fire sign. So if it's a fixed fire sign, it's, if we think of its strength being a pure heart that self-expresses, its shadow would be a closed down heart that thwarts its self-expression. And what happens when we close down our hearts? And that's an inquiry that we really would benefit. Also with the greater movements of the planets, I won't get into, but the outer planets that are changing signs, there's a lot of focus on our brains. So we need to come back into our heart. Our hearts are the answer. It's where our love is. It's where our compassion is cultivated. And our world needs our love and compassion right now. What if our hearts are meant to be broken? I imagine if you're listening, your heart's been broken at least once, and probably many, many times. What happens when your heart breaks? Are you still carrying the pain, the resentment, any shame, self-judgment from what happened in your heartbreak? Because once our hearts break, we have options to keep them closed, to dim our light, or to go through an oftentimes painful process that I find is one of the most regenerative processes that in my life, which is what happens when I surrender and embrace my heartbreak. I love exploring what happens when I surrender to the heartbreak and go through the whole process, the embrace of it, the forgiveness that's necessary in order to embrace, the release, the letting go, and the reclamation of the love that I am. And that's quite a process that we can get stuck at any of these places in the process. And when Jupiter, that points its exaggerative flashlight on whatever zodiac sign it's in, when it points its flashlight at all areas of our heart, it's time to take inventory of how our hearts are doing and where we need to mend and to regenerate. Inquiry that I bring into the heart check, the step 1 with Jupiter and Leo, and these are inquiry questions that I suggest that you bring in for the whole year. And really, our heart and the coherence of our heart, meaning living within a joy-filled heart, is powerful in our lives. A joy-filled, awestruck, grateful heart mixed with imagining best-case scenarios. To me, that's a sweet and magic combination for how to create and recreate a life of our dreams. And so how are you right now in matters of your heart? How are you in all matters of the heart? And how can you tell when your heart is opening or when your heart is closing? Let's go through some of the symptoms of a closed heart. So hearts, at least my heart, I can tell it's closing because physically I feel contracted. I feel physically defensive. I feel rigid. I might feel blocked. So inquiry. What situations in your life and how often are you feeling tense, defensive, constricted, especially around your sternum, around your heart chakra? With matters of the heart, I check in with my energetic heart, which is right in the center. The heart chakra is right in the center of the breastbone. And there's a sense of either softening, which is the heart opening, or constricting and becoming more rigid, which is a sign of the heart closing. So how are you? When does your heart physically open? And when does it physically feel like it's constricting and closing? How about emotionally? How can you tell when your heart's opening emotionally? This one's easy for me. It's literally, am I feeling thumbs up or thumbs down? For me, when I am feeling thumbs up, it's feelings of hope. It's feelings of peace. It's feelings of ease. I have more access to appreciation, love, and gratitude. All signs of an open heart. If I am emotionally guarded, fearful, feeling shame, numb, resentful, those are all signs of a constricted heart. So primarily observing yourself in different situations will allow for you to take the pulse and have more knowledge of when your heart is needing support. Because we might, in a minute, shift circumstances. I might be talking to someone I love or with a pet I love, and then I might all of a sudden think of someone or see something on my feed, or talk to somebody about something that causes my heart to immediately constrict. So I bring awareness riddled throughout my day. It's like a little thread of awareness that I keep. It's a touchstone. How do I feel now? How do you feel now? And how does your heart feel mentally? What happens to your brain when your heart constricts? And what happens to your brain when your heart opens? A constricted heart oftentimes feels inadequate. We'd reach to comparing ourselves to others. We'd also quickly criticize. We'd see other people's wrongdoing with more ease. We would dim our own light, and we'd probably dim others. So the mind is going a very different direction with an open heart versus a closed heart. So take the pulse for yourself now and always. Because from my perspective, and what's really moving around, if you Google heart coherence, it's everywhere. The Heart Math Institute measured the frequency from the heart and how powerful it is when we are loving and in awe. So what if living with an open, radiant, generous heart creates an open, radiant, generous life? One that's generous for your own well-being, but that can't help but overflow to everyone around you. So heart medicine in this year and heart medicine every year is important. We are the caretakers of our own hearts. What if they're meant to be broken, and our care for them allows them to regenerate, to be wiser and kinder and more generous and loving? How about a little heart mending ritual? How do we mend our heart? Well, first off, our hearts mend when they feel emotionally safe. Step one of this heart mending ritual is to create a safe space. You intend. It's, what do I need in order to feel safe? Well, I need an atmosphere, a cozy, safe atmosphere. So that's step one. You create that for yourself. For me, that's soft lights, maybe a candle. I oftentimes will turn off my devices if I'm wanting to feel emotionally safe, because the phone has a lot of ways of helping me scroll or whatnot and then feel on guard, which is not what we want for this exercise. So you create a sanctuary for yourself to feel. That's step one. Step two is hands on your heart chakra. Heart chakra is your breastbone. It's your sternum, right in the middle of your rib cage. And your hands are powerful. Energy is moving through our hands. I find that the word energy is synonymous with love, especially when I intend love to pour through me. And so then it's simple. You talk to your heart kindly. Hi, love. How are you doing? I am learning to let go. Then you soften your breath. I am learning to forgive. Another deep breath. As you do this, you observe your sensation, physical, emotional, mental. I forgive myself. Start with that. What do you forgive yourself for? There's an air of forgiveness around you, forgiving you, than any other being that enters your field, enters into that same atmosphere of forgiveness. I am learning to forgive myself for. And then you name it to yourself. And as you name this, you notice your emotions. If you are moving through trauma, which a lot of us are, this exercise of heart mending can bring about a wave of emotions. If so, please enlist a buddy. Buddies are what help us, or buddies are who help us move through emotions when we need a hand to hold, which we do. We heal in tribe. That's a heart. Our heart connects us to our tribe, our human tribe, and just our life tribe, our animal tribe, our earth tribe. So I am learning to forgive myself for, and then you soften and breathe. I forgive them for, and then you fill in the blank. As you're in an emotionally safe, cozy place. As with any ritual that we're shifting from the energetic to the physical. Bypass your thinker. Think as little as you can during this. It's about being the sensation, the emotion, and being present with your heart over time. The heart mending ritual, create a safe place for you to feel and be gentle with yourself. Choose to support your own heart. Hi, love, you say to you, I am learning to let go. I am learning to forgive. I forgive myself for, fill in the blank. I forgive them for, fill in the blank. And be one breath at a time. Because our cells, our bodies, our hearts need our presence, our loving presence over time in order to regenerate from heartbreak. That's what allows heartbreak to become a regenerative tool, to become wiser and more loving. As we start to soften and regenerate our heart, it's easy to become more aware of what causes our hearts to close. The third exercise I suggest is a reclaiming of your light. And a reclaiming of your light can happen on the go, which is what I suggest with this one. So this is when you're out and about, or when you're scrolling, when you're living your life, start to notice when your heart constricts, or start to notice when you start to compare yourself to them. Start to notice when you criticize. Start to notice when you judge yourself, when you judge another. When you notice, pause. This pause becomes invaluable. What if what you feel critical of, what you feel jealous of, contains information about your own heart's desire? So in your scroll, you wait, you purposefully wait. You say, oh, I'm jealous of that person. Then you put the phone down. You bring your hands to your heart. Then you let yourself imagine, what are they expressing that I wish I had? Because ultimately, our heart's desire that in a closed heart might express itself through jealousy. Our heart's desire is our soul's blueprint. What if you need a little bit of what they have, just to embody it for a breath, to allow your heart to feel a new sense of freedom and expression that's indicated by your jealousy? This can happen through scrolling. It can happen at work, that person you're jealous of at work, or in your family, your friends. Who are you critical of and jealous of? And why? That becomes a curriculum. Once you identify what you're jealous of, then or critical of, then bring back to your own heart. I soften, I let go. And then you imagine yourself living fully, authentically, big and bold. What changes in your posturing Do your shoulders roll back? Does your head come up more? When you imagine yourself living into your heart's desire without being bridled and controlled by your brain, this is about engaging in possibility rather than probability. It's about your heart's desire rather than your brain's limitations. So as you move through your day, as you scroll, as you're at work, as you're out and about, you look for areas, looking for people that you feel jealous of, critical of, and that indicates for you to stop, for you to soften your physical heart, and for you to say, what do they have that I want? Or am I critical of something that if I fully embodied would bring my heart joy? And then you act the part, even just for a minute or a second or a breath. Because practicing authenticity over time builds that muscle so it becomes more normal. When we live through our heart, we live vulnerably. So practicing through exaggerated embodiment when it doesn't matter, meaning when you're not in front of the group or in front of the camera or out and about, but you're just in your house and you're like, oh yeah, I'm practicing, I'm living my heart's desire. I'm living boldly. I'm claiming my heart's desire. That builds the muscle. And it returns your heart's desire to you. Okay? That's it for now. Gosh, happy Jupiter in Leo year. I'm excited about it. Please share. This is a year now of this podcast, and please keep sharing. It's just growing organically, and it's on all the streaming platforms. So please review if you love it. Please tell me if you don't. And until next week, goodbye. Thank you for being a part of our community here at Our Waking Dream. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Fill my cup and let it overflow. Let it overflow with love.